welcome. This is Ruth, and today's video is all about Tonic's new showcase. This is number 43 and it's called the Eternal Love Lantern. Now you'll probably notice on the packaging of it, which I'm sorry I haven't got to show you, but on there you'll see that it actually works with another little die set which is coming along very soon. I have it in front of me here, but at the release of this one I just can't show you that one, but it will come soon. And that will explain a couple of the photographs that are actually on the packaging there. But if you turn over your packaging, you'll see all of the dies that are actually in this set. And here they are here anyway for you to have a little look at. So there are 48 dies here. That's a lot of dies. And they make up a beautiful little lantern with 4 sides and a little drawer below. But obviously then you can use some of these dies to make other things with as well. The main pattern for the die, the little lantern, on the sides here would be this bride and the groom. Now I've already gone ahead and cut those out because they're really beautiful, and I wanted to show you them just at this stage as well. I've cut them out in gold mirror card there. So there we've got the bride and the groom, and you can put those on a card as well as putting them around the lantern. I thought they would look really beautiful if you joined the 2 panels together like that and backed them onto something and made a card to maybe match the little lantern that you'd give as a gift. And I'll probably do something like that with them at the end, but they look really lovely on the sides. I've got some in here already anyway. Anyhow, a very quick look at this will show you that this is the main pattern, the main panel, sorry, for the actual lantern. I can't get that off. There it is. And you need to cut out 4 of those, but in the instructions on your packaging it will tell you how many pieces that you need to cut out of all these. It's just that I'm going to go ahead and do the decorative panels at the same time, so I will show you how to do that as well. But that panel certainly would look really lovely, either or both or whatever, on a card or anything else that would be used for a wedding. You'll need, this is the outside edge, outside cutting edge here, and then there's this little panel here. So this is in multiple pieces. You can use that and leave a flat area because there's no cutting edges on the outside or the inside of this one. So that means that if you use this with this, you'll get this flat area left in situ at the end, and you can put something on top of that. You could cut this out on its own and set that in on top there. This doesn't have any outside edges either, so really you would need to fussy cut around that if you're going to cut it on its own and pop it in. But you could do that. So you can either leave the panels flat like this and put something else that you want on yourself, or you could indeed actually put vellum or something behind that. I have some vellum panels cut to use on here, but that looks really beautiful, and there's so many different ways you could use that. You could leave it open or whatever, but you put a little votive candle inside and then a little battery operated one, needless to say, and that would look really stunning. There are several pieces here that have debossing areas on them, and I'll just show you one here. Those look really good if you use them on mirror card or satin effect card or whatever, because they give this beautiful little pattern debossed into it, and that looks really lovely. Now these panels then, as you see here, they can be cut into your card or into your votive or your lantern, but you could also cut that plain and have the sides perfectly plain and put this on top. Or you could, if I just get the right one here, or you could, we'll go for this one. You could even lay this directly on top and just move it over a little bit so that you can see a little bit of both there, and that would get a drop shadow there. Or you could have that in behind and have it mostly cream with a little gold drop shadow. So there's loads and loads of different ways of doing that. Or you could just put a totally different colour in behind that. Just the loads and loads of options, and you can do it whatever way you like. So before I go any further, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd really love you to think about doing that. That helps my channel and helps me along. Sort of lets me know if people are still interested. I can see lots of you are anyway, so thank you very much for watching. But if you haven't already, maybe you think about doing that and hitting the notification bell. My affiliate links are always at the bottom of the video in the description down below for all of the sets and everything that I use as well. So I'll have those there again. And don't forget, if you do enjoy it, to give it a big thumbs up and leave me a little comment, because that always helps me greatly. And I always love to hear from you anyhow. As you know, I like to chat back and forwards too. So back to the die set. there are all of these little bits and pieces. I've gone ahead with some lovely ivory card, and I'm going to keep it quite classy and not too many colours on it. So I've gone for gold and ivory, and I'll just set this aside. I've got this on my big magnetic folder because that way it's not going to move about anywhere. And then I see that it sticks really, really tightly. So you have to sort of pull it off at the end whenever you're finished with it and put it away. Oops, and come back with another one. But it means that every time I'm using a die, I can just pop it back on there and it's not going to get lost. You actually just pop it straight on here, but because it was already on a magnetic sheet, I've set the magnetic sheet onto this and it holds it really firmly. Right, enough said. I'm going to go back and do some die cutting, and I'll be back in 2 ticks. I'm going to start off with the little base. So we need 2 of these, and I've already gone ahead and made one. It's really, really easy to make, and it looks really good at the end. It's really good finish off it. So you'll need, for each of them, you'll need 2 of these. We actually need to cut 4 for these and an extra one, so you'll have 5 of these pieces cut, and it has a lovely little edge around it there. That's the stage base. You'll also need 2 little stage flat edges for each one of these as well. So 2 on this one and 2 on this one. So 4 in total. And I've already folded all of these back and burnished them really well. And I'm going to start off with one of them here. And I'll just take this little short glue tab and glue that directly onto this edge here. So you want that joined on there. Just lay it down and make sure you've got it really straight as well. Just right there. Now you can just hold on to that for a minute or 2 and make sure it's straight and also well attached with the glue. You can fold that over and just be sure you've got it in the right place, and you'll know it's exactly straight and in the right place if the ends of this match there as well. Perfect. So there we are. Give it a little pinch and set it aside while you're working on the rest of this. So I am now going to set this piece with the top side facing down, and I am going to put glue on 3 of these edges here. So just right along there, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to leave this one with no glue on just for the meantime. And there we are, right along there and there and there. And I might actually just need to put a little bit more on and make sure that the corners are well gripped in here. There we are. Now all I want to do now is make sure that I have these all lined up really, really well. I think it's better just to do it like this. You can see where the edge of that just attaches right on there. Give it a second or 2 for the glue to grab, like so. And then you can fold that one around and that one around, and then just set them down. And if one pops off, don't worry, just hold it down. You'll be able to line it up there and hold it just like that. Check everything's level, and then take your bone folder and just burnish that down in. Check as you're doing it on the other side to make sure that everything's level, and then press it down and make sure it's all tight. Now when you've got it to that stage, you'll take the next piece like this, the stage base, pop glue on the other little glue tabs here. We're still leaving one with no glue on, this one, but you want to put glue right along there, and just make sure you've got enough right in those corners to hold that well, and there too, and right along there, and pop this one directly on top and make sure everything's aligned. Just pinch those sides in like that and make sure it's all aligned. Now I would hold on to that just for a second or 2, press it down and make sure it's all in the right place. Then you can turn it over, and I just take my little bone folder, but if you haven't got one like that, use a ruler, pop that in and just push it down along those little seams along the base, just like that, and down that one, and that just makes sure that everything is held together really firmly and all in the right place. Then now when you've got that done, you can go ahead and put some glue on there and there, oops, and there, and just pop this into place. So make sure those both down inside there and that one's in there. Now going to cut out 2 of these pieces here, and that's with this die, and burnish all of those score lines, because this is the little beveled piece, so you'll need to make sure everything's really crisp and nicely burnished along there. And then again we're going to attach the 2 of them together. So with this little glue tab, that's the straight one there, just put glue on there and attach that directly on here. And you can do that in exactly the same way as we've done before. Hold it right there for a minute or 2 to get the glue to start grabbing, and then you can just take a minute or 2. Then you can fold that over like that, and you'll be able to see if it's all lined up, if it's straight, and if it's nice and tight at the edge there. Whoops, there we are. And you'll know everything's all in place. And give it a little pinch, hold on to it for a minute or 2, and that's it. Now you can go ahead with the little glue tabs here. So these are the ones that hold all those beveled parts together, and add glue on here and here and here. And when you've got that together, that folds all these in like this. Then you can add this one and this one together, and that forms the complete loop. Whenever you've that all glued together, then you can take the shorter sides here, so you can see that these are larger bevel edges and this is the sort of narrower one, and glue right along all of those, and you can pop one of your little stage pieces, that's one of these, right on top of that, and just hold that down until that's in place there. So glue right along here. This little die is called the stage support, so you'll need to cut that out 4 times and burnish all those little fold lines, and then I've just laid them here in the way that you're going to glue them together. So you'll put glue on these edges and glue them all together like that. Now you can take this piece and just turn it over, and then this is the little support, and you'll pop it in there, and then you can go ahead and put glue on all of these glue tabs here and here, fold these ones over, and this then goes directly on here, and you can see that doesn't actually come right out to the edge, but that's okay, that's how it's supposed to look. So pop that in and glue everything here. Just keep the glue when you come to these pieces right out at the outside edge, because you don't want that to go on anywhere where it's not needed. So that's fine just there. Pop that over, and actually it might just be a good idea to do it this way. We'll put the glue on here. Now I'm going to make the little drawer, so you'll take this die and cut it out twice, and again I have burnished all the little score lines with my bone folder, and these are the little glue tabs here and here. So we'll have 2 of these, and what you need to do is just put glue on the base of one of them, rotate it and glue that directly on top of the other one, just like this. So you'll see they both start off like this, turn it round like that, and pop it down there. Now whenever you're putting it on there, just make sure you fold these up to be sure that everything's all in the right place. And then when you've that done, press it down firmly. You can go ahead then and glue these little glue tabs on here the whole way around. That's these little tabs here, and just for the moment I'm going to fold those back. When you've got those little tabs all glued together, you can go ahead then and put glue on here and here, so it's on the inside of those, and then fold them all down in, and that gives a lovely strong edge to these. You can make 1 or 2 of these, but at the moment I'm just going to make 1. But there you are, that's how to get the really strong sides on there, by folding those over and folding them all into place and gluing them in. And there's your little drawer. Now to make the little shelf part of it, you'll take 2 of these and there they are, and I've burnished those as well. And again, all you need to do is glue along the tab here and here, and you'll attach that to there and that one to there. Whoops. Like that, and then your little drawer will fit in there. Now if you want the little drawer to come out and in of both sides of that, that's all you need to do. But if you want to put a back on it and just have the drawer coming out one side, you can go ahead and cut this die and then burnish all those pieces, and when you have these glued together like that, you'll just put glue around those tabs and fit that inside. For now I think I'm just going to leave it like this, but I just wanted to show you what you do with that one as well. As you saw at the beginning of the video, I have already cut out the panels for this here, but I'm just going to show you how I did that. This is the main die. It always sticks. This is the main die then to cut the panel out, and you can certainly cut that out plain without any of this decoration in the centre. But I have then used the outside edge die just for placement. So I've put this on the card, and then I've popped this one inside, knowing that this is the top here with a little hole in it. And I've popped that in for placement. I'll move it over just to the centre. Like that. On top of my card, obviously. And then I have popped in the two little dies that I wanted next. So that's this one. And you could have either the male or the female, whichever you prefer. So I have got, let's see which way around this. This goes like this. So the bigger part is to the bottom. And I've set that in. And obviously I didn't want to cut that right out to have the piece. When you put these together, you're going to end up with this if you use the outside edge of it. But I didn't want that outside edge. It was really just for placement, so I can hold that one in and tape those two down and just make sure they're all aligned properly. But that one, if you have this other one in first of all, it usually just gives you a really good guideline. And then you can set that one in and tape all three of them together, carefully spaced, run them through your die cutting machine, and you're going to end up with this shape. Then you can go ahead and burnish all those little score lines, but that looks really, really beautiful. I've done two of them with the bride and two of them with the groom, and then I have used this little die again, and I've cut out some vellum, as you can see here, and I've glued that into the back of both of these, bride and groom. But I've done three of them there, and I'm just going to show you how I did that as well. So I've cut that out with this, as I said, and then on here you'll just want to put a very, very fine line of glue right along the edge here, right in tight. That's probably not in tight enough actually, but this is not an awful lot bigger than this here, so you want to go as tight into the edge as you can there, and right along the top. And then you'll not see it through the vellum if you go ahead and just add some bits of glue in the areas where there's broad places to put glue on. So you can see where I'm putting it here. And I've actually lost my fine nozzle, the little precision nozzle. I had two of them, but obviously you can just imagine what the place has been like when I've been upending my craft room and moving and doing all sorts of stuff in between time, looking for the snake, moving stuff around. And if you haven't heard about that, it's in my other videos. I have an intruder in one of my craft rooms and things are a little bit upside down, so I've lost my fine nozzle precision tip for my glue, and in the meantime I'm using this one. It's actually quite fine as it is, but I think for these areas I really would have preferred the finer one. But you can see the glue that I've put on here are on these bigger areas for catching, and I just do this with my bone folder, make sure it's caught in all the areas, and go right round the outside of it, and there you are. And that does look really, really beautiful. At this stage then I could go ahead and add the little die pieces on across here. That one that would cover over there, and then the other ones that would completely cover this on the areas that I don't need it. But I'm not too sure just at this moment which way I'm going to finish this off, and I want to leave that a little later. There's also ones here that you could use for a little putting a little magnet in behind. So I'm just going to leave that at the minute, but just remember that if you have worked out at this stage what you're going to do, you could go ahead and do that before you glue these together. So now all I need to remember is that we can lay these out, and remember we've got a bride, a groom, a bride and a groom. I don't know whether you noticed or not, but I actually had 3 brides and a groom. So now I have recut and I have got these glued together with the vellum in behind, and I've got a groom, bride, and now I'm just going to glue this together here, and then I can add that directly on top of my little shelf. Now I've got my little stage, I've got my little drawer, and this is the front of the drawer. I'm going to put the bride, I think, at the front, and that will just get glued directly on there. Well, that's the idea, but what I've done is I have actually taken the die that I used for the little shelf, and I have just cut off this piece, and I'm going to glue that on here before I glue that directly on there, because I think it just gives it a little bit of extra stability. So just glue around these edges here. And pop that on there. Once that glue dries, then I can go ahead and glue all of these pieces together. You can see there where I've added this little box onto the bottom of the larger piece then, and I knew that I was holding off adding the back on there because I thought I might like the drawer to come out and in, but I've decided on reflection now, whenever I have put this together, that the back piece that I showed you earlier definitely stabilizes that. So that's the little die that I had cut out with this piece, and I have glued it all in there, and it definitely stabilizes this bottom piece, because this is quite a long narrow piece to go onto a smaller piece at the bottom here, and then the little drawer can go in there. And I have used this little die along with this one to make these little patterns for around the 3 sides there of the little piece that goes onto the taller piece, and then I have popped one of them onto the front of the drawer. Then I've taken this little die here, there's 2 dies together in it, so I've cut one of them out in ivory, that's this one, and I've cut that one out in the gold, and it just debosses a really beautiful little heart into that. And I have curled that a little bit with my bone folder just to give a little dimension and make it into a little handle. And all I need to do now is put glue on there and pop that onto the drawer. So just get it into the center and hold those down. Now that's going directly on top of mirror card, so you'll need to leave that for just a little longer than you would normally if it was going on to normal card, and let that get a bit of a grip there. So just hold it on, press it down and hold it. In fact, I'll just hold that while I'm explaining the rest of the next bit. I've then taken these little dies, and those are really, really cute, and they'd be lovely if you sort of emboss them or give them a bit of a shape with an embossing tool, a stylus and a foam mat. But I've cut them out in gold, and I've layered one of them up here and added the other 2 on there. And of course there were little white dots that came out of something somewhere along the line. I think it was actually the next pieces I'm going to use, and one of them just landed on the desk, and I thought, oh yeah, that would look pretty in there. So that's where it has ended up, and that's where it's staying. And now I'm going to move on to the next part of this. So I'm definitely just about to glue this on here, but I wanted to show you these little bits while I have that off. There is this gorgeous little die, and it just debosses some little hearts. It doesn't cut them out, but it debosses them, and I have added that right along there, along the base of that. And now I can go ahead, but I'm actually just going to leave that for a minute or 2 just to be sure that that's properly dried, because it looks fine lying on its back like that, but if I set it upright it just might fall off, and that will get attached on here. And now I can move on to the top part of it. Now I'm going to move on to the top part. So I have cut out one of these. This is the little roof cap, and I have folded this sort of mountain fold and then a valley fold the whole way around, and then these little glue tabs. So first of all I need to do is glue the little tabs together, and that makes a kind of a little platform area, and then that's where you can add the other pieces onto. So just go ahead and glue those. And then you'll need these little side pieces cut after that. And I have cut mine and decorated them in the gold. And look at the lovely little pattern in that. Isn't that beautiful? You can see it up close there. So once I get these 4 pieces, little tabs glued, I'm going to add these onto the sides there. Now I can go ahead and add these pieces on here. Sorry about the noise in the background, it's a helicopter, and well, if I waited until that was away, I'd be here all day because it just keeps coming and going. So we glue all of the top tabs on here, and you can see it taking shape already. Just make sure you have them all level at the top there and all right down here so that everything is lined up perfectly. Whenever you have that all together, then you can go ahead and glue these little side pieces together like that. There it is. And now when you turn that over, you've got all these little glue tabs in below. And do you remember when we made 2 of these little bases? One's in here and this is the other one. So now we can go ahead and just add glue right along there on all 4 sides. And then when I've done that, that gets attached directly on top of there. You don't even have to put this piece on the top. You could have the top of that just plain and flat, and that would look really beautiful there as well. It doesn't really need to be like that. You just do whatever you like yourself and whatever you think, because you could decorate the top of it with patterned paper or something else even. Now we're going to take this one because I'm going to make a little ring pull here. So I have taken this little die and cut that out in ivory card, and I've scored all those little fold lines. So I want to leave 1, 2, 3 and 4 free so that I can glue those onto the top of this. So what I'm going to do is just fold those 2 down and those 2 down and fold them in together, put some glue on there and there, and you'll see it starts off like this, and I'm going to put that in and then pop those 2 over like that. Hold that for a minute or 2 just until that glue grabs there, and then can you see it now? There it is. And then I'm going to put glue on here, bring that down and glue on here and bring that down, and then I can hold those sides all together like that and bring these little end pieces out, and it'll look like this. Whenever that glue has grabbed, I can put glue on there and put that right in the middle there, and that has the little holes in the side to put a little ring tab right through, or a little piece of ribbon, or just whatever you want to put at the top of it. But just wait until that has completely grabbed, and then you can do that. And then I've taken another little die, which is this one. Whoops, I've cut that out in beautiful gold card again. There it is, and it has these lovely lines around it. And whenever I have this down, I'm just going to glue that one right down over the top, and that should just fit over there. Now I'm going to attach the little lid onto the top of the box, and I've zoomed it in so I hope you can see here. The little fold lines up at the top here, one of them is going to act as the hinge, so you'll pick the one that is opposite. You'll pick the one that's just opposite the front of the box here, so that's just at the back there. That will become the hinge, and these pieces here then can get glued down inside, and that covers the little fold line there and strengthens the top. But this one here then will get glued on to your little lid, and that means it can move backwards and forwards. So you just will pick whichever part of this, if you want your ring to go from the front to the back or the side or whatever, and attach that just in there and center it. But first of all, I'm going to go ahead and glue all these little pieces down first, remembering that this is the hinge at the back and these ones are the ones that get folded. this stage then we've got to find some way of attaching this so that the box stays closed, the lid stays closed, and you could actually just put a magnet behind this and a magnet behind here, and then obviously cover this with a panel. So you could put a plain cream one and then the one with this over the top, and your magnet could either be in behind or wherever there, in behind here or in behind here, and that would be attached then up at the top. Just glue that on there. So you'll have this with a magnet behind it and a magnet in here, and that would both close together. But what I'm going to do is use this little die here because it's quite unique, and I just wanted to show you how to use it in case some of you would like to try that. So I've cut it out here, and you'll see there are two tiny little score lines. Two tiny little score lines. So you've got two little bits here and here, and then these look really, really close together. So first of all, I'm going to put glue in around one of these on each side here, just here and here, and then fold that over. And just make sure that those little holes line up perfectly. So it looks like that. Then on the little tabs that are in just below those pieces, just go there, and then fold those two pieces in like that. You can glue both of these together then, and hold all of that while the glue's taking in that. So all you need to do is hold those two together and push that in. Then you'll see there's a tiny little score line up at the top there. So if you put this through here, through that slit, and just hold on to that, you'll find that you'll be able to glue the top there and hold that down. Now I'm just going to put something through that for a second or two to hold it in place, and then glue this tab directly to where that attaches up at the top. I actually think I can just hold it while that happens. So I'll hold this here, my glue's on there, and I'll pop that down. A peg to the rescue again. Sometimes I wonder what I would do without pegs, but I've got a peg on there, and it just holds that in place until the glue grabs on this other little piece up here. I actually decided just to turn the little tab inwards because I didn't really like the fact that it was visible from there through whenever you had it closed at the front there. So I have turned it in here, and you can see it right there. And it actually makes it spring forward better, so when you pop it here, it does actually just come straight through there. And I've gone ahead and added a little loop of ribbon up at the top, but now I can go on and add the rest of these around here. So I have cut this one, which you can see, there's the die, and that one will fit right over there. And then on the other ones around here, I'm just going to use the same ones that I did with these little panels down at the bottom, but because I want to cover these little gaps on them, I've cut the same die out in the ivory, and I'm going to back the gold one on top of this and then glue it on these panels around here. I don't need to do that with this one because this one is going over that. There it is, all finished, and isn't it absolutely gorgeous? I've put a little battery tea light inside there, and I have just tied a little ribbon on here, and then this is what you could hang it up with if you wanted, or you could just leave that hanging as you set that on a table. I think that is absolutely gorgeous. It would make a lovely gift, and then obviously you could make a beautiful card to go with that as well. Wouldn't that be really lovely in silver and white, with just a little couple of maybe little pink flowers or something on there as well? Lots and lots of different colour combinations you could use for that, but I just thought this was lovely and elegant with it, and I hope you like that colour way as well. Then we've got this little drawer here too. Don't forget there are different ways of using this, because you could just put a plain panel on and put some patterned paper. You could put the flat lid, you could do 2 drawers, you could do no drawers. In fact, you could just make the unit all drawers, or just this without the drawers at all. So there's lots and lots of different combinations of that. And then I thought rather than make some more of those that I would go ahead and show you. I reckon that probably lots of the other girls will have really beautiful samples of this as well, and I wanted to show you something a little bit different. So I've used the same dies to make a card. So at the beginning of the video you saw how I had cut out these two panels, and if you look very closely there you'll see that I have backed them onto one piece of cream or ivory card and then put this on top of an A6 card. I've actually just trimmed 1 centimetre off that to make it a better shape to suit the size of the dies. And then these little dies and this are all from that same set as well. And doesn't that look really, really beautiful together? Be a lovely, lovely gift for someone. But then I also thought I would try to combine this with a die set that some of you might already have. I'm not sure if you have or not, but you might remember that I used this die set. Here it is. It's the My Memory Book Screened Flourish layering die set, and I used it lately in a card, in a video where I made a card for World Card Making Day, and it was really, really beautiful. I just love the shape of those dies, and the card always turns out well with it. So I have used these dies here. You can see I cut the panel with the bride straight in, and I just wanted you to see that that makes a beautiful card like that. And I could leave that like that, but I always think if you add another card, another colour to the card, or another type of card, that you've got to balance it some way, because that just looks overpowered by that gold. Even though it's beautiful, you do need something in behind that. So first of all, I have taken these two dies together with some gold card, and I've cut the background out, and then this one in the centre, and I've cut all those pieces out. And then now I've got the inside of that, which I can use on another card, or I could back it in there and you would have tone on tone. Or the piece that came out of the centre with the gold, then I am going to put that in there to balance that, and that will go in the background. And then you've got a lovely dimensional card. You've used a die set that you may already have, or if you haven't got that one, you could think of some of the other dies that you've got. But I reckon the actual rectangle the actual rectangular part in the center just really suits that well, because it's more or less the same shape. So I'm going to go ahead now and add just a little bead of glue on the underside there, on the gold side, but you know how that always reflects, just around the outside of that, and pop it on there. That's everything I'm going to make with this die set, but I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy making this as well. Don't forget to come back. I think it's roughly 3 to 4 weeks after this one is on sale that the other one that works with it will be coming out as well, and it really, really does look good. It matches in with these, and I don't want to say too much, but it matches in with these, and then there's a little adaptation to it as well. So unfortunately I can't show you it now, but I did want to let you know that the two work together. So I hope you have enjoyed it. As I said, if you have, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and leave a little comment down below, and let me know if you like this idea of, well, obviously you won't need two together, but you could have wedding stationery made like this. And I know this is probably a bit elaborate to make too many of, but you could maybe have this as a table centre or whatever, if you start well in advance, if you're going to make something for a wedding. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to do that and hit the notification bell, and share it if you like as well. Let your friends know there's videos over here. There's loads of things coming up. As always, lots to see and lots to play along with as well. And I shall be back very soon, but in the meantime, don't forget that my affiliate links for everything I've used are down below in the description of the video. So I'll get a little commission if you use those, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. And thanks very, very much for not only buying, for watching and commenting, for everything. Thank you so much. And in the meantime, happy crafting. Bye bye.